So, very good afternoon to all of you. I'm sure you must have looked into some of the videos I have shared, that recorded videos, and look into the study material we have. And today, what we are going to discuss is totally different from what was written. I mean, this particular topic will not be available in self-learning materials, and as we know that this particular field of sustainability science is very dynamic, and if you look into different issues, challenges, and approaches, that's also in the same way. It is also dynamic. So there is a need to update our understanding and update our knowledge. Again, if you look into that, let us take an exact. Last year, I used to share with last base students about SDGs and India, its index 2. Today, we'll discuss the recent report of SDGs report of India, right? So we had a quick look on the SDGs in global context, and hopefully it was a discussion on the basic concept, basics on what is there in the SDGs, why it is important. And today we'll focus on SDGs at local level, in the sense that when you look into international context, when it is national level, we can see it's a local level. So let us have a quick look into what is our progress so far after implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. So we know that we have 17 Sustainable Development Goals, starting from micro level, that's no poverty, and different level, right? And different sector that that talks about different sector, improving different sector, that concern about different level of development mechanism, up to and partnership for the goals at present, right? And how India is responding to these sustainable development goals. This can be looked into a different way. First, what is our role in international context? Then, if you look into that also, especially in this global pandemic from the last 1 year, most of us are aware that India plays an important role, especially in that goal number 17. We are providing a number of help to the least developed countries and island countries. That when we are trying to achieve sustainable development goals by 2030, even we know that even before sustainable development goals was emerged, or just the issues of sustainable development was emerged, India is its own unique way of development agenda at national level. We were implementing a number of the policies, program, and so on from time to time into what is happening, what is the need of the nation. So, when Sustainable Development Goals was introduced, then what our country is doing, we are streamlining those existing our national agendas into SDGs basket. And when we're in the process of implementation of all different development agendas, sustainable development goals, and all, there is need for coordination. And India's federal structure, on the other hand, achieving sustainable development goals needs a two-way approach. One is top-down, another is bottom-up approach. So we need a proper coordination and leadership at different levels. So NITI Aayog play an important role as a national coordinator to look into the progress, implementation, progress, and the monitoring of sustainable development goals. And localization means if you look in national level, when you talk about localization, it can be look into national state level, then district level, then panchayat level, and so on. Then whatever the program and policy we are implementing at different level needs to have a proper monitoring mechanism. That's also we are continuously doing. In fact, as of today, we have the third version of SDG India Index. Now, at the first SDG India Index 1, we are not able to cover the index for all the goals. It was covered about 13, 12 to 14 only. Then in the second version SDG India Index 2, we have covered most of the goals except for the partnership, if I'm right. And then today in this SDG Index 3, we have covered all the 7 goals in that index, right? That is it. So as I told you, IO plays an important role at national level. If you look into the nodal bodies to institutionalize SDGs at different levels, you will see here the organizational structure and the look. The nodal agencies, different nodal agencies, they take different responsibility here. Mapping target to program policies are done by setting the target, then properly coordination between different people, among different central ministry, state ministry, and then again, then the coordination with the state planning department, then biannual review, regular review is also taking place, and we have to support and facilitate that. On the other end, public participation is also important. So we built up that participation with different organizations at different levels. Then at subnational level, the planning departments is here that talks about different goals, about mapping target with departments, departmental targets, because all the targets are time bound. We have to achieve with that time. We must try our best to achieve that particular time bound, right? Then thematic task group formation is important, and coordination is more important. This is the responsibility by different organizations at different levels. So as I told you, we have SDG index dashboard, so that from time to time that we can say our progress. That is the compilation of that from our different states at different levels. That is taken care by IGNOU, right? When we talk about achieving sustainable development, certain priorities needs to be given, looking into which sector or which section have to be taken priority. So depending upon the goals, depending upon the status, situation at different that level, like in state or at local level, state level, or national level. So in that way, our top priority of our development needs is, when we talk about development, we know that if there is issues of poverty, the hunger, and gender inequality, it will be very difficult to achieve other sustainable development goals. All these goals are interrelated, but to achieve other goals, when you talk about the innovation, infrastructure development, in that also we need to have we need important first and foremost step is to end hunger, and there's not any poverty. There's certain so that's why our top priority is on these 3 important goals, right? And the second, other strong development needs, Health is also very important. Education play an important role. So these are the group of strong development that development goals which we are taking in priority basis. Then in policy priorities also we have identified different goals, right, of different areas. So this is the summary of factor prioritization for investor map, right? And if you look into the basic characteristic and objective of SDG in the index tree, the major objectives of this SDG in the index tree is number one, to rank the stats in territory based on their performance. When we have ranked the stats, then there will be interstate competition. When we have introduced that interstate competition, automatically performance will be improved. That is the objective of SDG India Index. You can look in that objective in a very simple way, right? And at the same time, we need to support and promote healthy competition among different states and union territories in their journey to achieve sustainable development goals. Then, when some states have good practices, then we can recommend to other states to follow those good practices. These are some of the objectives. Then, all this objective, as I told you, in this time we cover 17 SDGs, which are what we call as 169 targets given by the United Nations. That is we cover in this time. And we have National Institutional Framework is also there that gives the data and all these things, right? The methodology that follows for construction of all these index are, raw data they compile, the target setting is developed, and then normalize it, then give the score, goal score, then they make that score as composite SDG score to measure the composite SDG India Index score by averaging all goal scores. So based on all these things, now if you look into the latest 2021 publication, then you will see goal-wise the stats that are top status inventory that shows the different goals are, goal number one. When you talk about goal number one, no poverty, among these that do stand top, and that is among the Union territory, it stands top. In the same way, when you talk about zero hunger, Kerala perform best, and the Chandigarh among the Union territories. And overall, Kerala is the top. Right. In this way, different states are performing in different levels. From here, you'll be able to understand. On the other hand, this publication is easily downloadable from the TAO website. Right. So this and to understand, to make it, analyze in a very simple way or normalize those data in a simple way, then India use 4 categories, right? Depending upon the point each state is getting, and there are, here that you will see here those that 4 category, that achiever, then front runner, and then this other then. I'm not able, front runner, the performers, and these are the basic category which introduced used by the NITI Aayog, right, to classify the state based on all that. So when we look into goal-wise, first goal is that it is about ending poverty in all its forms and everywhere by 2030. When you talk about poverty, poverty cannot be, for example, what we can say that giving some money to a person or giving that livelihood to a person doesn't mean that their poverty will be ended. It is a very complex issue. On the other hand, if you look into the situation in India at ground level, it's very difficult to maintain the growth rate of 5% or more, because already India is majority of the people in India in the category poor people, and the infrastructure is not good. So it is not an easy task to implement such kind of to achieve that goal SDG goal number 1, that is not poverty, right? So few of the its programs is the government of India initiated, then we can look into what are the initiative of that programs policy we have to to achieve this goal. And here I just want to, before coming to that, I want to show this particular this indicator, how to see your poverty, how to improve it. As per Oxford University, they have multidimensional poverty index. If you look into index, and India is also following to look into the progress of different states about to monitor the progress of those states about this goal number 1, ending poverty. When we talk about poverty, as I told you, it is about status of health. And when we talk about status of health now we cannot avoid. Nutrition is very important. On the other hand, it's also directly related to, when we talk about the health, is that also directly related to the good health and well-being. That is goal number 3, child mortality. In this way, that the education, standard of living, all these are interrelated to each other, and these have direct link with your goal number 1, right? So some of the our existing before even after we implement sustainable development goals in India after 2015, we have reshaped some of the initiative of government of India to achieve this goal. Is we have the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana to give an access to a range of financial service, including banking, credit, insurance, pension, and the pension of vulnerable communities, right? Then we have Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana program that gives and that universalized primary health care and strengthen its infrastructure with this initiation, right? Then we have National Social Assistance Program that taken care about the disadvantage vulnerable person, including elderly, to widows and person with disabilities, right? Then now when you talk about poverty, there is 3 important parameters, which is the basic necessities of life. Is in Hindi we say roti kapra makan. In the same way, if you do not have a proper house, housing facility, and if you do not have the house, it will be very difficult to achieve this goal number 1, no poverty, right? To end the poverty. That's why under our government of India's initiative, Housing for All by 2022, basic objective is to give access to safe housing to all the eligible group of the society, right? And when we talk about that basic necessities, food is also a kind of energy. On the other hand, you can look energy in different form, and the electricity, lighting, fuel, all these are essential energy component as a basic needs. So we have recently, India also achieved very well in giving access electricity to all. It is under the scheme of Subhagya scheme of government of India, right? If you look into some of the indicators, which is given by United Nations indicator framework, is percentage of population to look into the progress of the different programs you have implemented at national level to achieve sustainable development goal 1 are percentage of population living below the national poverty line, right? And under that target, that has to be, our target is 10.96, right? Justification for that here, I mean, this is from the report of our SDG India index 3. Justification is that in the standard targets given by United Nations, the target 1.2 M's to reduce at least by half the proportion of men, women, and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions, according to national definition. According to, if you look in India, according to Tendulkar Committee, it estimates that poverty rates in India stand at 21.92%. Therefore, half of that means 10.96. So in this way, different indicators have we assigned at national level targets, right? And justification is also given here. You just look into this particular document which is published by that's ETA. So these are the indicators. Last one, when talk about house for all. No, in that indicator, percentage of household living in kacha houses, right? It should be 0. That means we have to give that pakka houses to all, right? So in that way, our achievement so far is, as per the latest SDG India report 2021, that the poverty rate, it's also now it is also declining. And if you look at the performance of these different states, 6 union territories, 6 states and 7 union territories have already achieved the target of reducing the poverty rates, that is to below 10.96%, and Goa top among the state, and Andaman Nicobar Island among the union territories, right? In the same way, headcount ratio of poverty also, according to this data of National Family, this NFICS for 2015-16, that and our multidimensional MPB, multidimensional poverty index in India is 27.9%. Now, so in that way, we have improving a lot during the last few years, and comes into health insurance coverage, because when we talk about poverty, health is one of the important component, right? Without that, it will be very difficult than to achieve this goal, right? In the same way, one of the important our initiative is MGNREG Act 2005. When we implement this particular act, we are giving at least a minimum of 100 days wages to compulsory work. We can say compulsory work, livelihood to the people in the form of wages. In that way, even they do their development work in their village, in their local level. This is the benefit we are given to, we can say, multiple benefit with one target, right? Then giving maternity benefits also, we are giving maternity benefits to under the Pradhan Mantri Matru Bandhana Yojana. That is one of the social protection scheme. Then we have household living in Kacha also, as per the 76 round of the nation sample survey, 4.2% of the household in India live in Kacha houses. Right. This is the progress you see here. This is the progress of our country. Again, And then goal number 2, it talks about zero hunger, means we have to end hunger and we need to achieve food security at different level. When you talk about zero hunger, when we talk about food security, achieve food security, it talks about nutrition and it talks about promoting sustainable agriculture. We know that we have food and nutrition security act, and as you know, national food security act is already there. In this pandemic also, under NFS, we are providing food to most of the affected people. You can say, even if you look into rural areas, and we are providing, government is providing food to all the citizens of the country. Then we have Antyodaya Anna Josna that gives 35 kg of food grants per month at more subsidized rate. Right now, it is also, I mean, during pandemic, in some state they are giving, instead of taking money, they are giving free. And we have, when you talk about improving the nutrition, children is one of the important, group of age group, which we need to improve their nutrition. So with that objective, we have midday meal scheme, right? Many more schemes, like we have Poshan Abhiyan, then that is National Nutrition Mission. Then if you look into the improving agricultural productivity and income, we have Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, then means Har Khet Ko Pani, or per drop of water, per drop more crops. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, and we have Pradhan Mantri Kishan Scheme. Additionally, also the Prime Minister of India disbursed the money in the last 1 month. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Kishan Sarbhadra Yojana. These are some of the schemes that initiated by government of India achieve goal number 2, that is no hunger, right? These are the target I told you. Certain indicators over there, and we have given our local, national level, we have prepared our own the national level target, right? And the reason for justification of target is given here. For example, in the example, in question of National Food Security Act, our target is 100%, and given target 100% achievement would be here. Yeah, great. So in that way, we are giving food subsidy to, if you look into the progress, 99.51% of beneficiaries were covered under NFS, right? Still, it must have been, I'm sure in this particular, it must have been increased, performing very well, because most of the states, they are improving the system, right? So when we have that, if different programs, the project related to children underweight also, it also improving, and stunting rate is also decreasing, but anemia among women, because different schemes I mentioned you in that I summarized you in the last slide. These play an important role in fighting all those issues was exist in India and decreasing that such kind of problem in India. And we're sure that if we are effectively implementing that all these existing policy program in the days to come, in the years to come, we are sure we will be able to achieve all these this particular goal number 2. And no, third is, as we discussed, health is very important. If you do not have good health, and your well-being is not, if you do not have good health and well-being, it will be very difficult to have, you can say, your livelihood, right? So health is very important. So in India, we have Swasth Bharat mission, right? It was effectively implemented, and our biggest achievement was most part of the country now it has become ODF, open defecation free. Most of the part of our country is covered with that, right? Then we have nation, it is also this under the National Food Security Act, Poshan Abhiyan, National Nutrition Mission. These are directly related to your good health and well-being, right? On the other hand, especially in addition to that, especially technology play an important role, and particularly in this pandemic also, we have successfully implemented that by using Aadhaar database, and when we are monitoring that status of tracing that COVID the patient, tracing that vaccination status, all these we are able to do by using technology, right? So these are some of the achievements, Then we have Mission Indradhanush, immunized by 2020, and more than, in addition to that, we have a number of policies and program related to communicable disease, like we have National AIDS Control Program, we have revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, we have the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, and we have National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Disease, and stroke. These are some of the initiatives of Government of India. And we have, Mental Health Care Act that gives an entitlement approach to the delivery of mental health care and services. Ensuring universal health coverage under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which is two important components. One is Ayushman Bharat and Health Wellness Center across different levels across the country. Right. Then these are the target indicators and target. Why these targets we are giving all these targets, right? These are justified over there in that report. I will not go into details. And what we can, as a student of sustainability science, what we can see that looking into what is happening during the last 1 year in India, as far as related to Sustainable Development Goal 3, we are improving a lot. Can say that in a short duration, of 1 or 2 years, we are able to, improve our infrastructure. We are able to develop a number of health-related infrastructure. Then number of initiatives has been taken place, right? Then education, education play an important role. So goal number goal number 4. It talks about education for to ensure inclusive quality education for all and promote lifelong learning. In this area also, India is a number of schemes. Even before this SDGs was come up, we already have a number of under scheme, like we have Samarga Shiksha and Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Ramsa, Rashtra, then Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, then teacher education scheme, early childhood care and education. A number of issues are there. And one of the important integrated approaches is we have the integrated science development services scheme that have a package of 6 services. Supplementary nutrition. Right? When we're trying to achieve this education, implement this education, this ICTC scheme taken care of other goals. Supplementary nutrition, preschool non-formal education, nutrition and health education, immunization, health cycle, and referral services for children in the age group of 0 to 6 years, pregnant women and lactating mothers. You look into this ICTS component. It takes care of most of the goals related to poverty, hunger, poverty, and education, health, right? Our gross enrollment ratio is also increasing. Some of the important scheme, in addition to our service Saksya Vigyan and Ramsa and others, we have the recent initiative of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana that supports the youth taking up industry and skills training to secure a better livelihood. Then this Beti Bachao, Beti Parao, and sorry, Parao, this particular scheme, and Swasth Vidyalaya scheme. These are some of the initiatives given by started by the government of India. The same way, it has some indicators and targets that was prepared at our national level, justification for target, and we know that that actually we have achieved a lot in terms of improving the quality of education, and improving the quality of education, and in terms of giving that gross enrollment ratios and so on. So you will see here in this figure, and here if you look into our achievement, we have enrollment ratio in elementary education is also increasing. That annual, that average dropout rate or decreasing, right? And then enrollment in ratio in higher secondary is also increasing. In the same way, different component as a target, which was identified by the United Nations, in that also target and indicators were performing very well. Literacy rate is also improving. Infrastructure in schools are also improving across the country. You just give a simple example, is just look into some of the infrastructure which was developed in the last few years in Delhi, schools in Delhi, Punjab, and others. That shows that we are going in the right direction, and we will be able to achieve at the earliest as possible, right? That gender equality, is also very important. When it's already, when we talk about gender equity and equality, that is already in our constitution, and we have different legislation, policies, programs, special government initiatives already there in our in this which is taken care about this gender equality. So rate of crimes to women also we're in that also we're moving well as per as look into the target. So certain indicators like sex ratio at birth is now our target is 950. And then let us see in the what is our achieve, how much we have achieved in our, how much we are able to achieve in our target, and certain that schemes like that is Beti Bachao, Beti Parao, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, and then maternity leave rules. These are some of the initiative to achieve gender equality. Like others, act and the laws are also there, like Dowry Prohibition Act. We have Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. We have Section 376 Indian Penal Code relating to rape, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, and we have Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention and Prohibition Act. These are certain acts, right? Which are related to this particular goal going on fire, right? So, and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana and Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, Din Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, and Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. These are some of the initiative of government of India, right? So if you look into the progress also, like let us take one simple whatever in our that is in front of us in this slide, crime against women. It's particular this indicator. For every 100,000 female population in India, about 62 cases of crime were reported in 2019. The highest rate of crime against women was witnessed in Assam at about 178, followed by Union Territory of Delhi at 144 crime per 100,000 female population. The lowest rate of crimes against women was in Nagaland at about 4 crimes per 100,000 female population, followed by the Union Territory of Puducherry at 12 crimes per 100,000 female population. That shows that in this direction also we are improving a lot. In the same way, when we talk about sex ratio, that was I-99 in 2016, I-99 females per 1,000 males was reported in in this report in 2016-18, and in Chhattisgarh and Kerala have surpassed this target with a sex ratio of 950 and 957 respectively. Right. So in that way, we have a proper family planning scheme, and we have operational land holding also, land holding right to the female also given. And if you look into women in leadership also, that is also increasing, you know, and we have reservation policy to empower the women, even in Panchayat level also, you know, Panchayat and different, that we see that certain assembly sectors, certain Panchayat areas, they are given reservation for women candidate only. These are certain initiatives of government of India, right? Then goal number 6, it talks about clean water and sanitation, right? And to achieve in this direction, some of our policy programs are, you know, we have National Rural Drinking Water Program, right? And we have Jal Jeevan Mission, and we have Jal Shakti Abhiyan under Jal Jeevan Mission that aims at water conservation and rainwater harvesting and renovation of traditional water and other water bodies, and the reuse of water and resources structure, water set deployment, and intensive afforestation through broader community mobilization. These are some of the, restructure our traditional way of that water conservation and traditional way of lifestyles, right? So through this initiative, some of target we have achieved so far are, you know, let us take an example. When we talk about clean water, water quality is very important. Improving water quality is very important. We know that some of the major rivers are already polluted. So to take care of improving the water quality, we have different programs like Namami Gange program, and then we have sanitation to take care of sanitation and hygiene for all. We have Swachh Bharat mission, and as I told you, it is about in open defecation free also. We have achieved a lot, right? When we look into some of the targets like accessing pipe water supply, we have achieved, for example, in certain steps like with an objective of 100%, you know, Gujarat and Haryana, they achieved 97.57% and 97.41% respectively. In the same way, access to improve sources of drinking water also. National target is to provide access to improve source of drinking water to all by 100%. Now we have achieved 97.44%. So in that way, now other parameters like individual household toilets and rural households also improving rate. So these are some of the achievements so far we have achieved. Then affordable and clean energy, sustainable development goals with an objective to ensure access to affordable and sustainable energy for all. Right. Some of the programs, under this are, in India is Pradhan Mantri Sahaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana, Saubhagya Yojana, giving electricity connection to all. We have achieved at least 99 point something percentage of villages of India. Then we have integrated power development skill. Then we have Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. These are some of the schemes to improve transmission and distribution network services to give access to electricity. And when it talks about renewable energy also, now we have our National Electricity Plan 2018 that also reinforces government's commitments to transform the Indian electricity sector with a target of 275 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2027. We have clean cooking fuel under that Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana scheme that is effectively implementing. And to look into energy efficiency, we have National Energy Mission, then we have Bureau of Energy Efficiency as a coordinating, as a institution to take care about the energy efficiency that gives the energy rating. BE is responsible to look into that. In the same way, we have energy conservation building code, and so in that way we are improving a lot. So I will not go into detail there. Then goal number 8 is on this decision, work, and economic growth. In this direction, during the last one decade, we are having a good number of policies and programs. Among those policies and programs, among those reformation, we have business reforms, like that was introduced in India in 2014, Make in India initiative, right? And then we have insolvency and bankruptcy code to 2016. Then we have Goods and Service Tax Act. So that is streamlined, and then giving, infuse more money for Make in India, right? And streamlining the financial sector also. We have Skill India to give employment that was started in 2015. We have, as I told you, and we know that one of the world's largest scheme is Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Act. Under that, we are giving 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to every rural household, right? So, through all these initiatives or achievement is, if you look into per capita gross domestic product, India's GDP per capita at constant is base year to 2011-12. It is grew by 5.15% in 2018-19 over 2017-18. Then when global target is 8.1, we are at least 5.1, means we are improving a lot. Looking into the condition of social structure and the condition of our country. And ease of doing, when it talks about one of the important target, ease of doing, under that, we have, as per World Bank report, that India is stand at 71 in the year 2020. In the same way, unemployment rate also decreasing in some certain sector. Unfortunately, okay, because of this pandemic, we may have certain challenges in this time, but if we do not have this pandemic, we could have achieved a lot, right? These are some of the progress so far in this particular goal. Then goal number 9, it talks about industry innovation and infrastructure. When you talk about industry innovation and infrastructure in India, it can be looked into the basic infrastructure, communication infrastructure, and to achieve all these, we have implemented a number of business reforms, and increasing manufacturing sector also important. And approach innovation in design is happening, R&D component, and innovation ecosystem is also, and increasing public investment. Skilling in India is one of the important, we can say, skeletal of this to achieve this particular goal. Like we have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So these are our target, and these are our achievement. Now let us take an example. That's one component, road connectivity. From the last few years, the condition of road connectivity is improving under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, right? Then value addition by manufacturing sector is also improving. If you look into the progress and involvement at different levels during the last few years, you will see that we have a number of MSME sector, self-help groups, they are directly involved in that, right? And you will see a number of organic farms is also, improving, and local products that is also, production of a local organic products also increasing. So these are some of the achievement made so far. Then goal number 10 is on reduce inequalities, right? Among the countries and among the among the countries and at different level in a country also. So in that context, India needs to work more. As in the last session, as I talk about, when most of the population is under poverty, but unfortunately, then we have few individuals from few Indian citizens are among the top rich of the world, right? So some of the program to achieve this reducing inequalities is that aspirational district program. This is one of the important, because if you look into some of the that district across the country, they are highly disadvantaged. So under this aspirational district program, and then they are able to give more fund, and more infrastructure has been developed, and then during the last few years, their performance also improving. And to give towards giving education for all, we have right to education. Then, as I told you, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is also one of those scheme. Then we have Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile program, National Social Assistance Program. These are some of the programs that can reduce inequality among different in that section of the society, right? And again, if you look into the vulnerable groups, also we have STEP program. We have Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program. We have Din Dayal Rehabilitation Scheme, and to have financial inclusion to all, we have Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, right? Some of the highlights, if you look into in this front, we have if take an example of the income inequality. Also, we are improving a lot, and political inclusion also. When our total, see here in this figure, 14.39% of the total seats in the year 2019 Lok Sabha election were won by women. So that shows that in this front of it, we are improving a lot. That's great. Then goal number 11 is about sustainable cities and community. Right. We know that cities are the center of that economy. No. In the same way, we have a number of issues, challenges is over there in cities. So to improve the country, that cities in a sustainable way and its community with an objective to make all cities inclusive, safe, resilient, sustainable, we have a number of initiatives at different levels. We have reforms in the real estate sector, like we have Real Estate Regulation Development Act 2016, then housing for all at urban area. Then we have Amrut scheme that give basic amenities, civic amenities to all the communities, and we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. These are some of the schemes, and to look into the progress, indicators and targets are here, and justification of target is here. As I told you, this is from our report, latest report on and that NITI report on sustainable development goals. As we know that we have a smart cities mission, and we are trying to cover 100 cities, and performance is going well, though there are some challenges in implementation part, but we are able to implement effectively in some cities, right? So these are some of the highlights, right? I will not go to details. Then goal number 12 talks about responsible consumption and production. You know, when we're talking about this the challenges and root cause of this environment degradation, root cause of sustainability is, our consumption and production pattern. We need to have a responsible consumption and production pattern. So under that, we have 10-year framework of program on sustainable consumption and production, and under that, we have 6 programs. One is sustainable public procurement, second, sustainable building and construction. We have sustainable tourism, including eco-tourism, sustainable food system. We have consumer information and sustainable lifestyles and education. Under that, we have natural resource management food system that talks about that taken care about soil health management and promoting organic manures and biofertilizers. And we have resource efficiency, and here also we can directly link with energy efficiency and sustainable construction buildings. As I told you, that's when you talk about other goals, it's about we have armed building codes and others. Public procurement system, that online public procurement system is over there. We have sustainable tourism. Yes, we are increasing sustainable tourism. And a few of our that achievement is, like see in this fossil fuel consumption also decreasing, and use of nitrogen fertilizers also decreasing. Then hazardous waste generation, in that case also we are decreasing, and we are taking care of hazardous waste management proper way, right? And waste recycling is also effectively implemented. Then goal number 13 does talk about climate actions. We have National Action Plan on Climate Change that have mission, and under National Action Plan on Climate Change, every state has state action plan on climate change. We'll have different class on that course, last course in 17. Climate change is directly related to energy. We need to, because it is talking about emission of greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide is a major contributor to climate change, right? So having clean energy is one of the important steps. So we have Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana that cares about clean energy. and we have emission to, reduce the emission intensity and look into the progress of that. We have National Air Quality Monitoring Program. These are some certain programs that taken care of towards having this National Action Plan on Climate Change and to take climate action. So, and when you talk about climate, it is also that related to disasters and mitigation. All this. In that front also, we are well prepared to fight all these climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies. Right. Then, life below water, in this front also, we have different scheme like, integrated national fishery action plans and national marine litter policy, and we are regularly monitoring our water quality at different places. Then we have to take care of all these things. We have different acts like water prevention, water pollution prevention, water pollution control prevention. All this is there. We have river regulation zone. We have this ecological RRZ also there. So there are certain initiatives over there. We're regularly monitoring water quality at different areas, especially in coastal and marine region. We have improved in covering the mangrove. And when we talk about agriculture, also in that also we are trying our best to improve its potential. Right. These are certain achievements which is we are able to achieve in the last few years, right? Then coming into life on land, we have different acts and policies related to land conservation, managing forests, well and water bodies. We have NRCP, National Reserve Conservation, National Reserve Conservation Program. We have National Plan for Conservation of Aquatic Ecosystem. We have Wildlife Protection Act. We have different programs to combat desertification, like Integrated Watershed Management Program, National Afforestation Program, National Mission for Green India. And this Green India mission is also directly related to climate change. We have National Action Plan on Climate Change under that. These are some of the indicators like forest cover. In that sense, also we are improving a lot, and some state they have all the achieved, right? Like Arunachal and state of Arunachal and other northeastern state, their coverage, their forest coverage is increasing, right? So these are some of the achievements. Then coming to goal number 16, that is on peace, justice, and strong institution. Now, in this front also, we have number of that legal framework, acts and regulation to take care of, to maintain the peace, to bring justice, and to have a strong institutional mechanism. In that way, some of them are, we have the Juvenile Justice Act 2015, we have POCSO 2012, and we have the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. Right to Education Act is also one of the act that in some clause that also talks about prohibition of corporal punishment, psychological harassment in school. We have Right to Information Act, right, to have transparency in any development mechanism, transparency in any of the program and policies implementation. Then one of the important is we have for the recent initiative of Aadhaar biometric-based unique identity system, gives and legal identity for all, right? So these are some of the indicator and our target justification. And if you look into all those targets and achievement, we are achieving a lot. For example, in case of corruption crimes, is Right to Information Act explains important role in minimizing, minimizing rate of corruption, and Aadhaar coverage gives a legal identity to most of the citizens of India. And if you look in the core density also, it is also improving a lot. Then when you talk about partnership for goals, that NITI Aayog play an important roles in global international level also, as I told in the beginning, that it is a nodal agency in India with other states that as far as sustainable development goals concerned, for proper implementation and proper monitoring and to have to look into the progress from time to time, right? So in this goal, we are having augmenting domestic resource mobilization through this different scheme like ease of doing business, then GST, GST, and some of the initiatives. These are some of the initiatives at our local level, means national level, to have a partnership and a proper collaboration from among different stakeholders. Then to improve public expenditure efficiency, our new system of monitoring framework, like outcome monitoring framework. This used to be, fund utilization framework. Now outcome monitoring framework, and the technology-driven public finance management system, government integrated financial management system, and direct benefits transfer. These are some of the schemes that talks about goal number 17, and to improve public expenditure efficiently, and to promote entrepreneurship and private sector. We have startup, intellectual property rights, property protection, and foreign direct investment, and to strengthen South-South cooperation. Like India, government of India is building their efforts in capacity building. It's under its flagship program. We have flagship program ITEC, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, that reaches 160 countries across the developing world, giving training to different scientists and technologists in of different countries, citizens to different countries. We have Pan-African Network project that we are taking key roles in developing the different countries in Africa. Then we have coalition-based approach of disaster resilient infrastructure, then International Solar Alliance. Then recently we have National Institute of Solar Energy, and to improve data monitoring and accountability, we have National Indicator Framework with 306 indicator, and as we know that we have SDG India Index and Diaspora. These are some of the initiatives to improve our collaboration at different levels, right? Some of the initiatives driven by these partners, means under this goal number 17, these are some of the initiatives, like we have national sub-national consultation, national indicator framework, national review, private sector, research academia, and think tanks approach, institutional structure reform, state union territory governments. This is how we are able to achieve through all these approaches, right? So if you look into the region in some of the government of India's this intervention in certain sector, to support capital, gives capital support. If you look into SDG 9, that talks about industry, some specific intervention or working capital support was given to medium, micro, small and medium entrepreneurs, and NPA Weber, equity infusion, liquidity infusion to all those PMSSY and MSMEs. And we have tax benefit, IT refund, food processing, and these are the certain SDGs goal. SDG goal 8, SDG goal 9, and the areas specific intervention during the last few years, and some of the achievements is over here. So that is all about how we are achieving law, and this is the processes we follow to get to achieve those goals, and implementation, proper monitoring and regular evaluation, and to achieve all those. First sensitization, first step is sensitization, state and district indicator frameworks prepare, then improve the ecosystem, building partnership, and then SDG coordinator centers develop, set up, then operationalize our dashboard, then review mechanism is on there, then we have ranking of different district and the stats. So in this way, we are properly implementing SDGs, and is one of the region we are performing very well in different SDGs. And here I just want to mention that what IGNOUs playing a role in achieving SDGs in India. When we talk about SDG, SDG is a very sustainable development goals. If you look into different goals, these are interrelated to each other. Now they are horizontally linked, right? So IGNOU's role is, gross enrollment ratio. If you look at the goal number 4, that quality education, IGNOU's playing an important role. And reaching to the unreached and blank in the breadth of the country. And if you look into our program structure, we have different varieties of education program that are highly specialized and that concern different SDGs, right? And if you look into one of the objectives that talks about quality education of lifelong learning, so IGNOU plays an important role, enhancing the knowledge in different fields. That is the unique nature of IGNOU that plays in achieving sustainable development goals, giving more awareness in that. And sustainable science is also one of innovative initiative of IGNOU to achieve sustainable development goals. These are some of the references which I defend for this presentation. Thank you very much for today, and we can have a discussion